And you could have lined up 1,000 children, and we would still have chosen those two.
I will always be able to tell my daughters that they were my first choice. I had other options, but adoption was my first choice.
其實咧，我都覺得我哥哥對我係好特別㗎，因為我覺得佢比佢自己嘅仔女佢更加錫添。
I don't think I could love anybody as much as I love my children.
In life, there are many things that one desires. A typical child usually asks their parents to buy them candies, toys, little gadgets, etc. Some children's wants are rather simple. They want someone to play with them when they're bored, someone to tell them everything's going to be okay when they scratch your knees and help them put on a band-aid, someone to care for them, someone to love them. All they need is love. Sometimes it's the other way around. Couples want a family. They want someone to spoil, someone to pour their love into, to raise as their own. A child. A lot of children around the world are in need of a family. According to UNICEF, there are more than 20 million abandoned children in China alone. And now, with the current Sichuan earthquake in May 2008, it is estimated that the number increased by nearly 3 million children. However, only around 120,000 adoptions take place globally each year. It is a basic human instinct to procreate and build a family. This longing causes a primal urge that draws a child and a couple, unrelated by any sort of genetic means, together. Some people resort to adoption due to genetic or medical reasons because they are not able to conceive naturally. Adoption is the act of legally placing a child with a parent or parents other than those to whom they were born. Raising a child is a large responsibility, particularly if the child is biologically not your own. Can an adoptive family establish a loving relationship congruent to one established biologically?
9歲之前嗰陣時咧，其實我哋即係佢啲大人全部都知嘅，只不過係我自己唔知嘅啫，佢哋冇話到俾我哋聽啫。咁到我大個咗之後，咁佢即係覺得係一個時間講俾我聽啦，係一個 timing 啱嘅時間，咁佢先講俾我聽啫。咁但係就即係我覺得以我嚟講，我係好接受呢個現實嘅，即係我覺得每一個人嘅命運係唔同嘅，咁或者佢有啲有爹哋媽咪嘅，都未必有嗰個養我嗰個對我咁好。 係咪？咁其實我覺得反為可能係一個福分咧。如果我喺個喺翻我自己即係出生個家庭嗰度，或者我冇咁幸福添。
And I said, you know, every love you experience in life grows. It's gradual. You love your family, and you don't remember falling in love with your own mom and dad and sisters. It just kind of is. It's not even always a cool thing. And even when you have boyfriends and girlfriends and you find a partner in life, you kind of grow into it. You don't, I mean, people say they fall in love instantly, but really you fall more in love with people. It's a gradual thing. But when somebody puts a little baby in your hands, it's like there's this drawer inside you that you didn't even know existed. And this drawer opens, and it's just instant and complete. The drawer just opens, and you are completely filled with instant responsibility, instant love. It's very powerful because until that moment, you don't realize that you've grown into all loves. And then suddenly, you can't fall any more in love with your kids. You love them completely the minute your hands touch them. And that's how I felt the minute my hands touched her.
The majority of people view adopters as saints with a huge heart. But is it solely out of unconditional love that really brings a person to adopt?
It's not. It's not kindness at all. I'd say it's a selfish need that's being satisfied.
People often assume that we're some kind of saints, I think. I mean, we have 4 adopted children, and those were the choices that we made. Of course, we're not saints by any stretch. We're pretty regular people. So I think adoption, the best way to think about it is that it's 2 things that come together. There's clearly a child who has a need, and there are parents who have a need. So it really isn't correct to view it as a charitable act. It's not really good people who went out and did a good thing. Because frankly, the adoptive parents have their own slightly selfish reasons. They want to be parents. They want to have a family. They have a vision of what they'd like to do for their family. It's just that their need happens to match with a child who needs it.
We have another friend of ours who has 2 children of their own and then 4 special needs children. Now he's a doctor, but you know they had no need to build their family through adoption, but they took children who had special needs and had come from very difficult backgrounds, and they chose to give them the best opportunity they could. So I think for them it was a benevolent act, certainly. You know, they were doing what they could to help out children who weren't given the same sort of opportunities that maybe we were.
Why is adoption so poorly publicized? Why do people choose to adopt invisible adoption? Although Hong Kong people are becoming more open to the idea of adoption, however, compared to Western societies, we still have a long way to go.
But I suppose the key thing to keep in mind about adoption is it's always about finding parents for a child.
A good way to solve the world's problems would be for every family, whether they have biological children or not. If every family adopted a child of a race that was not their race, I think that we would solve a lot of the world's problems, because we would realize people are just people. We all have the same hopes and fears and challenges. We're different on the outside, and we become different in our beliefs through our cultural upbringing. But really, we're not that different.